It's official. The 2025 LDBC Meet and Greet in Las Vegas, Nevada, August 9th and 10th. Hosted by none other than 78 Sports TV, accompanied by many LDBC content creators you know and love. Come through and enjoy the LDBC Basketball Classic, where Team Voltron will take on LDBC Selects. Come on out and have a good time in a family atmosphere. Children are welcome. Get your tickets ASAP. Use code SHAWA to receive $5 off. See you there. Salute, salute, salute. Shout out to the fam. If you guys can hear me, please give me a 1 in the Chizat. Please give me a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I have a huge delay, it looks like. I'm praying y'all can hear me. Salute to my brother Just Do Boxing and my brother Joe Townsend. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm super duper far behind y'all. This is crazy. But nevertheless, we gonna cook. So, hey JT, Junior the Truth, JTT and JT, what's going on to my brothers? All right, y'all, look. So, as we know, look, first of all, hello. I ain't been here in a minute. Life been lifing like a mug, yo. I got a whole lot going on. I can't be here long today because life be life, and I got new appliances coming tomorrow. It's always something in this house. But as we know today, the news is hit. Jaime Mungia has tested positive for testosterone. What do they call it? Exogenous from the outside. That means it ain't his own, right? um, when I heard the news this morning, I was in Drew Titan's chat. Very upsetting, and not because I like Jaime, but because this is just continually recurring over and over again, and irregardless of how anybody might feel about what I'm about to say, it's the same people. It's the same people. A lot, and this coming out of the same gym. Now, mind you, it's not just out of Eddie Reynoso's gym, but when I say the same people, it's something about the South Bordarians that with I don't give a shit if it's meat, if it's tea. It's just problematic. Salute to my brother, the Dirt Gang boss, Hen Dog, the fearless one. What's going on, family? It's problematic. So I'm gonna read this a little bit of this article. Now, mind you, we know Jaime fought Bruno Saras. The first time was in December of last year, and he got knocked the fuck out. At the time, Jaime was 45-1. He had only lost to Canelo, but he didn't get knocked out. But somehow, Mr. Bruno came from middleweight up to superweight, and he knocked him out. And to be honest, I don't question whether or not Brunello was dirty. I would have never questioned whether or not Jaime was dirty. But anyhow, they rematched May 3rd of this year. They rematched, and it's just now coming out that Jaime popped on the 4th. On the 4th, I do believe it was, is when it's saying the news came out, but we're just hearing about it today. So 25 days later, mind you, when Clarissa popped, we heard immediately. When Alicia popped, we heard all this stuff immediately. And they drug them women. They drug anybody. They drug us, right? 25 days later, we're just now hearing about Mr. Saras. I'm sorry, Mr. Mungia. So it says, and this article is from ESPN. Maybe I should go on and do my due diligence here and share with the family. It says, former junior middleweight title holder Jaime Mungia's win over Bruno Saras on May 4th could be in jeopardy. It shouldn't be no question. After he tested positive for a banned substance following a post-fight urinalysis. A representative from Mungia's team told ESPN Knockouts Salvador Rodriguez on Thursday they received the VADA notification on Wednesday night and that they will respond to VADA's notification regarding exogenous outside testosterone metabolites in Test A. The representative from Mungia's team said they will soon request the Test B be open. Look, I'm like Drew. It's the same piss. It's the same. Y'all can do whatever you want. It's the same stuff, right? Mungia, 45-2 with 35 knockouts, officially has 10 days to request analysis of Test B for exogenous origin of testosterone metabolites. So that would have been I guess this test must have, because they're talking about the 4th that the fight happened. So either way, the 15th, we'll say the 15th. By the 15th, Mungia should have requested this B test. Ain't nobody heard nothing about this. Very problematic. Because now here we are just hearing about this. So I mean, what was the outcome? And also, to go back to the beginning, why could the test be in jeopardy? It should be no question. Why is it even a question that something would be in jeopardy if if they tested that test A, and it's been 14 days now since his 10 days was up? Like, we should be beyond just hearing about him testing dirty. That's my whole point here. Um, says Mungia's promoter, Golden Boy Promotions, has not responded to ESPN's request for comment. That is also problematic because we know that Ryan is under Golden Boy Promotions. He also popped and tested dirty. And in the whole thing that went on with Ryan in that fight, the the fact that he was roid raging during them press conferences, the fact that he was up there drinking, and you guys think that Oscar did not know? You think B Hop did not know? They sat there while that man was drinking on the scale, and there was no, like, y'all. This whole thing is so problematic for me, and it's annoying. What's going on, sis? How you doing, Miss Karma Serene, and my beautiful sis Shade girl? What's going on? Look, yeah, problematic. I got more. I got some more. So also at the end of the day, we know this dude to the left and center, Mr. Eddie Reynoso, just so happened to be training Jaime Mungia the night of the fight with Bruno Saras. Canelo was in the house. Um, everybody on this little picture here, Jaime, Oscar, Canelo, Ryan. What is this dude's name? La 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 la. Julio Cesar Martinez. Yeah. Dude on the bottom to the left with the little big ears, and in our favorite, you know, our favorite Mister Mauricio Suleiman, who happens to not obviously give a shit when his people that are representing his belt, well, when certain people will say that representing his belt, they're not taken to task, and we are extending the use of certain said drugs for a certain group of people. It's freaking problematic with the South Borderians. That's all I'm gonna say. PGH Big Dog, salute. How you doing, King? You would think they would have their, but see, that's the whole thing with me, Karma. Like, I do believe so. I believe Neri did pop too. That's the problem with me, though. Why do we need to have a cycle together? Get off that shit. If y'all can't beat somebody, then it is what it is. Um, and yeah, obviously that's easy for me to say. I don't fight nobody, but in life, I'm not trying to cheat. You know what I mean? So yeah, I can't say that because it makes me feel some kind of way. And the reason why they can't get their cycle together, one, they don't have a high IQ. None of these people are smart. And two, it's the Most High's will. It's the Most High's will that this stuff keep coming out and don't nobody say nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's just, how you doing, Tay Tay? How you doing, Queen? It's just proving that a certain group of people, and it's groups, y'all. I'll just go ahead and say it's groups, but it's mostly with these Hispanic fighters. This is so freaking problematic. Cause again, like I said, I got some more. I got a little bit more, right? We gonna share the screen again with this one. This is from boo boo boo. Let's go back. 2021 from our favorite reporter, non-reporter, Mike Cappinger. Look, y'all, I got dogs and children, so it's gonna be it might be a little noisy. Reynoso distances himself from doping talk, says he's not responsible for nutrition. Before I get to reading this, how in the hell? How can you not be responsible when it's at least five, at least five that we can count that are coming out of your gym? Now, as the coach, maybe not, but the strength and conditioners that are working in your gym obviously are the same people. This is freaking problematic. And Eddie Reynoso should be absolutely investigated. And I don't know where to begin and how that starts, but it definitely needs to happen. So, again, this is from September of 2021. Oscar wasn't the only person to be scrutinized by the boxing world after he tested positive for the banned substance phentermine, ahead of his victory over Robson Conceição earlier this month. His trainer, Mexico's Eddie Reynoso, was dragged into the controversy and had his reputation called into question, as it should be, by champions like Devin Haney. Shout out to Devin, because look, 2021, he was keeping it real. Caleb Plant, he and Breadman, they keep it real. And Sonny Edwards on Twitter. Shout out to Sonny. I used to like him too. All of them are suspect. Everything out of that camp is intentional, wrote Plant. And it is. Who continued the barrage at Tuesday's explosive press conference in Beverly Hills, California, to promote his sixth blah. We don't care about that. Maybe we do, to promote his November 6th undisputed super middleweight championship fight with Canelo Alvarez. Why do we care about that? Because wasn't it before that fight with Plant that he tested dirty for clenbuterol with Golovkin too? Yeah, so I would be concerned. And all these fighters that are clean, they have the right to be freaking concerned. This shit is dangerous. Let's see what my brother's saying. I will say, trying to cheat on your taxes is way different from, you know what? I ain't messing with you today. Reynoso, 44, told ESPN in Spanish last week through a translator that the wave of criticism has caused him to think twice about which fighters he trains going forward. And even consider having his boxers sign waivers stating that I'm not their nutritionist. I'm not their nutritionist. I don't give medical advice. I'm a trainer. I teach technique, and that's it. Yeah, okay. I've been training for 20 years, and in this time, I've trained 15 world champions, and my job is just to train them. These people, like Caleb Plant, don't know anything about my career, my accomplishments, everything I've done in my role with these fighters. This is something they're ignorant about and trying to tarnish everything I work for. Look, here's my thing. Again, this seems to be a theme with these South Borderians. Whether they're Americanized or American, there's ties. It is freaking problematic. And while they running all up in people's chats and all over YouTube and X and IG, talking about how they're the damn best and their fighters are the best, how do you explain this mess? How do y'all claim to be the best and they never want to talk about that? Oh, it's just a little bit. It's not supposed to freaking be there. And what is the name of this one? Phentermine. Oscar Valdez had phentermine, but I mean, they said it was some tea. None of this shit is supposed to be in y'all system. And you are absolutely, absolutely responsible for what goes in your body. Nobody can give me a pill and just say, take this, and I take it without question or without knowing what the hell it is, especially when you're in a sport
titles, money, your reputation's on the line, y'all. Reynoso is absolutely responsible as well, and his gym should absolutely be stopped, shut down until he is thoroughly investigated, and his strength and conditioning trainers investigated. Because I don't believe it's the nutritionist, even though some of these people are eating meat or whatever. Your nutritionist is just supposed to be cooking you food that's nutritionist for you. A lot of this shit they're pumping, they're poking. You know that, like, it's not coming from no freaking food. I don't got time. I don't got time. Alvarez, ESPN's number one. We don't give a shit about him. Supposed to be there pound for pound. Tested positive for banned substance clenbuterol ahead of his 2018 rematch with Gennady Golovkin and was suspended for 6 freaking months. Get the fuck out of here. Postponing the bout. He said the positive test was the result of tainted meat consumed in his native Guadalajara. Then your ass shouldn't be able to come here and fight. Stay your ass in Mexico and fight. That's just how I feel about these people now. The claim wasn't outrageous. You know what? Nah, I'm not about to listen to them bring some NFL player into this. I got another one. I got some more. And this one ain't even to my knowledge, not of Golden Boy, and she's not of Eddie Reynoso, but she's the South Borderian, Erica Cruz. And I liked this chick before I found out about this shit. Erica Cruz stripped by the WBA of her 122-pound title for PED violations. Mexican fighter Erica Cruz is no longer with the World Boxing Association super bantamweight champion after the sanctioning body decided to strip her of the title following her failed drug test stemming from her May 11th match against Argentinian contender Nazarena Romero. The now vacant belt will be made available for Romero, the number one women's super bantamweight contender, according to the WBA, who will be facing the next highest and available contender. This, I believe, happened in last year, July 2024. WBA sent out a press release yesterday, July 2nd, where they announced the relinquishment of Erica Cruz's 17-2-1 with 3 knockouts super bantamweight title, citing her action not to open the B samples of her failed test. Yeah, because there's no freaking reason to. A is B. They're synonymous. Look. If you run a boxing gym, you are absolutely responsible for what happens in your gym, just like any business. Thank you. Thank you. And I also hold this same sentiment with one Derek James, who had one, and I don't give a shit if he just came into his gym, one Ryan Garcia. Yeah. Salute, I am True Man. How you doing, King? 2 cents. How you doing? So, yeah. Erica Cruz. Another one. Another one. Another article. This one is from 2024. This is from the Yardbarker. Increased penalties for confirmed PED use in boxing. Boxing's ever-present performance-enhancing drugs problem will likely never be fixed because no one wants to be responsible for cleaning things up. But at the very least, let's increase the penalties for failed drug tests significantly. Here's my thing, and y'all can answer this in the chat. So we just read about Canelo having a 6 month. We know Ryan had a 1 year, and I forgot to go and look up this article because there's a brother who was accused also of PED use. This dude was suspended for 4 years. For 4 years. And he had about the same amount or less than Ryan Garcia. So where the hell do we get 6 months in a year as a penalty? Like they need some years, like y'all gave this man. Y'all need to have fine. You need to have to pay. I mean, and actually at this point, because it's just becoming so outrageous, and it's every freaking month basically. Why not just kick these people out the goddamn sport? If you get caught popped dirty in your A and your B sample, I don't really give a shit because again, they're the same thing. You just shouldn't be able to even fight no more. Kick these people out and show that they're serious. Like it's beyond ridiculous. It's annoying. Um, so this talks about Erica Cruz popping dirty. Cruz isn't the only one. Mexico's Rodolfo Orozco tested positive for a banned substance following his September 24th defeat to Conor Ben. Conor Ben, Eggman. Look, Fernando Vargas was knocked out by Oscar De La Hoya in September 2022. Junior middleweight title fight and tested positive for stanolazole, y'all. Stanozolol. I'm really good at reading, but goddamn, stanozolol. In his post-fight urine test 2 months later, Vargas was suspended for 9 months and fined $100,000 based on his example. It's saying Cruz should be suspended for no less than 12, for no less than 18 months. I don't actually know how many months she ended up being testing. I mean, she ended up being suspended. I have not, and I, as far as I know, she has not been back since. Despite taking anabolic steroids, former German heavyweight, world title contender Marius Wach was on the receiving end of one-sided beating at the hands of then unified world champion Vladimir Klitschko. In 2011, the German Boxing Federation subsequently handed him a 1-year suspension. However, Wach wasn't done walking down the wrong path after getting sliced, diced, and stopped by Alexander Povetkin in the 12th round. November 2015 bout, Wach tested positive for a banned substance. Again, he had Ryan beating on teenager and sparring on that juice. If I were a parent, I would sue. Wait a minute. What teenager is this? I am True May. He was sparring a teenager in DJ's gym. What teenager is this? Interesting. No shit ain't in the grocery store. Thank you. It's not. These people are intentionally doing this mess. Former lightweight champion Brandon Rios lost nearly every round to Manny Pacquiao when they fought November 2013 welterweight showdown in Macau. Unfortunately for Rios, he tested positive for the banned stimulant. Look, methylhexamine, neamine, whatever look, which is commonly used as they're all dietary supplements, but it's also a performance-enhancing substance. In his post-fight drug test, Rios was given a relatively light suspension of 5 months. Another one, former lightweight title holder Lucien Boutte tested positive for the substance Ostarine. We know that one, right? The same drug Ryan tested positive for last month after his draw against title holder Badou Jack 2016. Once the results came in, Boutte was disqualified, fined $50,000 by the Washington, D.C. Commission. We know about Jarrell Big Baby. I mean, it's oh God, y'all. It's so many. It's so freaking many. This is what I was saying though. And we already know. Mauricio Suleiman, the WBC president, says he won't be punishing Ryan Garcia for his positive test last April after this week's 1-year ban given to King Rye by the New York State Athletic Commission. So again, we're dealing with the sanctioning bodies, the powers that be in boxing. I am true, man. You didn't come back, fam. But Ob Jones, what's going on, King? Salute to you. What the helly? Are you talking about this Ryan? Yeah. Yeah, I think we talk about this Ryan mess. Look, I'm gonna do this real quick with y'all. Cause you already know how I get down. Osterine don't help you, but everyone got some. Exactly, Toussaint. I mean, at the end of the day, um, I was talking to my brother Michael Ray about even with when you look back at the fight against Bruno Saras, this last fight that Mungia had. When you look at that fight, you know it's easy to look at the fight and say, "Oh well, he didn't knock him out. Oh well, he didn't do nothing." But if you watch that fight, he had a little extra oomph as far as a little bit more edge on his power because he wore Bruno out. He wore Brunello out as well as he had a little bit extra energy. But when also in the beginning of that fight, I recall thinking, okay, he's being a little bit apprehensive, and I'm thinking, maybe it's because, and it surely it was, it's because he got knocked the fuck out. But at the end of the day, um, like I said, there was a little bit more edge to his punches as well as a little bit more energy. So it's not always about just going in there and looking like Superman. And when it's all said and done, none of this shit is supposed to be in your system, or else it wouldn't be banned. And there's no way all of that this shit is just slipping into people's system because they're not saying it's coming from like a diet. It's coming from dietary supplements. And it's easy to say supplements, but again, I feel like in a lot of cases, these people are probably with the needle, like an anabolic steroid. It's probably some more applications being used here. Something else. VADA informed all relevant parties Wednesday that Jaime Mungia's A sample returned an adverse analytical finding for exogenous origin of testosterone metabolites following a urine sample May 4th. He defeated Bruno Saras, sources told The Ring. This was Bruno's response. I am shocked by the news that Jaime Mungia tested positive for a banned substance. There's no place in boxing for cheating. The sport is dangerous enough already. I went to Mexico and knocked out Mungia fair and square in December, and I was gracious enough to give him a rematch in May. He knew he could not beat me on a level playing field. I trust that this result will be overturned immediately. And I'm with Bruno that I too would hope. That's all we could do is hope that they'll overturn his decision because it's not fair. And I mean, we just saw, now this is not the same context with Charlie Suarez beating Navarrete, but I still see a theme. Okay, Charlie hit Navarrete clean. Suarez hit him clean, busted his eye. But he still did not get the TKO that he should have received. And look, okay, here's my theme. Here's my thoughts as far as a theme. When you go to these fights and you see, especially on the West Coast, especially in Las Vegas, you see these Hispanic fighters come out. And I mean, these people go nuts because the majority of the crowd is Hispanic, y'all. The majority of the crowd is Hispanic. They go crazy. So My thoughts are just this. These people are also a big part of running boxing, especially on the West Coast. They do not hold their people accountable. And when you have people like Mauricio or Oscar or the lady that Drew always talks about, I can't remember her name. I think it's Gloria something. When you have people like this, who was a judge, who are in the upper levels of boxing, like it's a theme that we see, and I even see it outside of boxing. But these people don't hold their own people accountable, but yet we're expected to. And it's not just Hispanics; it's also in the Caucasian community. You guys do not hold your people accountable. They get the slap on the wrist. But then our black fighters, not only are they drugged through the mud, y'all hold them account for years, for months. Y'all, when the shit is been dead and gone, y'all still bring this stuff up about our fighters. What's going on, Drew? How you doing, King? It's good to see you. Stormy, salute. Salute to you. Coach Hudson, if this was any, yes, there would be a RICO charge. That's why in congressional investigation, federal, congressional. Yeah, they be up in front of Congress trying to explain, right? Cono Loco, what's going on, big bro? How you doing? There you go, Miss Martinez. Yeah. What's going on, Village Brother? Salute to you. I don't know if I missed anybody. I'm sorry if I did. There is a link, I do believe, in the chat. If anybody wants to come up, oh, I didn't pin it. Hold on a second. Let me do that. Let me do that. If I can figure out how to freak to do it, y'all. I can't. It says it's pinned, but I'll just run this one more time. So yeah, I did say that earlier in the live that I do believe he being Eddie Reynoso, and you know what? I don't care. Also, I'm gonna have to say Oscar. All these people need to be held to account. They need to be investigated majorly. And in the meantime, yeah, he should not be able to train. Eddie Reynoso absolutely should not be able to train for anything, not for another fight, not just for general purposes. His gym needs to be investigated, and that means everybody that's working in it, because somewhere along that chain, I still believe it's the strength and conditioning trainer. But how do you not know? How do you not know what the hell's going on in your gym, and you get to just um, act like you're innocent and act like what is this crap he says? I'm reading this article that I read earlier. It's not even the same freaking one. Either way, he's claiming that he's innocent and that fingers are being pointed at him and that it's not fair. It's absolutely fair. You should be held accountable for what the hell's going on in your gym. Salute to you, Cameron. Blessings to you, sis. Brother Reef, how you doing, King? Salute to you. So, like I said, I do honestly believe that these upper people in boxing as well, these Hispanic people, you guys need to be taken into account as well, because all this 6 month and year, it's not helping with anything. There's no reason why we should see Jaime Mungia coming out testing positive for testosterone, and this just so happens to be his first fight with Eddie Reynoso. Everybody needs to be taken to task. Like I said, I don't know where this would start. I don't know if it would have to be a petition. and we'd have to pass it around to get it signed. But people need to be under investigation in this sport, big time. The PED cheating is so rampant that they don't think they will get caught. But that's the thing, 2 cents. And Karma Serene said something about it earlier about them not believing that they'll get caught, but you are getting caught. And they're, if they're not microdosing, then they're also basically trying to do what Ryan did, obviously probably before the fight, unlike what he did. But trying to cleanse your system, be it the green juice, be it masking with marijuana, alcohol, what have you. Hello, Coach Hudson. How are you?
Peace, Queen. How you feeling?
I'm doing all right. I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm just tired of all this BS and people not wanting to call it what it is. At the end of the day, like you said, I think Oscar know about it, and I'm gonna tie it all in together. I don't know if you all were on the show with Drew when he brought on Elijah Pierce. And Elijah was talking about how in USA boxing, even the judges and some of the refs seem to lean more towards that brawling type of fighting style, especially when you go towards the West Coast.
Yep.
I I believe that there is a conspiracy between amateur boxing, the sanctioning bodies, professional boxing to allow a certain group of people to get away with murder to put them at the top. But the conspiracy doesn't end there.
Mm,
Once they're at the top, they're going to take it even further and want a certain type of Mexican fighter. So I want you all to think about why isn't the boxing machine not getting behind David Benavidez the way they are behind Canelo?
because he's not a South Bordarian.
He is not. He looks more Azteca than Spaniard. So if you look
Oh,
at, yeah, yeah. See, there's colorism
true,
in Mexico.
true.
The way we deal with racism, they deal with colorism. So the more Spaniard you look, they believe you're better
That's
sometimes.
true.
And I'll let a Mexican brother or sister go deeper into that. But I think it is a conspiracy because that's the closest they can get to having a great white hope. They tried for decades to use a European, but that's not working. They see that the Lomachinkos didn't work. Even Usyk, who is the heavyweight champ right now, you see him being the heavyweight champ. He not holding it down the way a American black heavyweight champ would, because
Correct.
when there is an American black heavyweight champ, you already know it's moving the whole sport forward. Everybody eats off of that.
Hmm.
So I think I want you all to remember something for a second. Now, because some people are saying, well, it shouldn't be on the gym and they can't
Yes.
punish the gym, etc. I want you to think back to that episode of All Access when Floyd Mayweather let them in the doghouse. And they did doghouse rules, and it was a big brother fighting the little brother.
Hmm.
And they did doghouse rules. A lot of people don't know that that episode was reported to USA Boxing. Did you know they tried to shut that gym down?
Yes, I've heard that.
See, so don't tell me, don't try to pull that small time crap on us and tell me that professional boxing has no weight on what they do in their gym. Eddie Reynoso, if Derrick James or Calvin Ford or Virgil Hunter gym had six fighters who were world champions, who all popped hot for PEDs, they would be on MSNBC,
Yep.
CNN, Fox News, in front of Congress, asking these brothers to explain how are all these fighters popping hot. Now, all of you brothers who I have tried to get on about defending Ryan Garcia, defending Teofimo Lopez, defending when people are cheaters. This is the crap that happens. So now that you all have allowed it to happen and you cape for them as well, and some of you fighters who are quiet as well, this crap is going to keep happening. Basically, they are telling the world that as long as they have the upper hand, they can cheat,
They could do what they
they can
want.
they can load their gloves, and it don't matter. And I dropped a video. It's uploading now, but I dropped a video as well pointing out how Roger Mayweather was suspended for 2 years from any professional boxing event when he jumped in the ring when Floyd Mayweather fought Zab Judah. Now, when Margarito had loaded gloves, not one of those cornermen were banned from a boxing event. Not only that, a few years later, when Madonna tried to use those gloves that were not padded, guess who was standing right there next to Madonna arguing with Floyd Sr.? It was
That would be Robert Garcia.
Robert Garcia again.
Absolutely.
Now, how is it all of these cheating incidents, these same group of people are always in these situations, but they are never chastised, not once.
Not once. Or publicly ridiculed. Absolutely.
Facts. You all need to wake up and see what the hell is going on. This is not a game, and the lives of our fighters is on the line now. So I want you brothers to think about that the next time you open your GD mouth defending the other side. Because no matter what, it don't matter what your color is, it don't matter if you male or female. PEDs has no place in the sport. Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. Correct.
I land my plane there, Queen.
Correct. Okay. So Stormy responded to something you were saying. He says, not overall at the top at Coach Hudson, but to compete with superior athleticism. But what I wanted to say to what you were saying is, yeah, absolutely. That's kind of the point that I was making now. You did bring something up that I have thought about before, but it was not a part of this conversation, but it very well should be, is that there is a separation. And you said now the darker Hispanic compared to the more Spaniard, right? Instead of the mestizo. But I also still would say, too, a lot of these are south of the Borderians, is what I'm calling them. This would be your Central American. And Kano, when I say that, obviously, I'm not talking about the islands. I'm talking about Mexico. A lot of these fighters that we are seeing, they come from Mexico. They're not Mexican American, even though we've seen some of them pop dirty too. But the ones as of late, and it's just continuous, every month, every other month, these are Hispanic, straight from Mexico fighters.
Yep.
And they do have that that tie that you're saying, that basically that they're more of the Spaniard ilk than the mestizo. All I can say is there ain't no great white hype. There ain't no great Hispanic hype. And with that said, I wish that our black fighters here in America, I need y'all to buckle down. I need y'all to buckle down and get back on your game. Because these people are out here fighting dirty, and it's in it. The reality is that I already feel like a lot of these brothers out here are slipping. Now, some of the new guys that are coming in, the prospects, they're doing fine, and I'm not necessarily speaking about them, but some of the ones in between, some of the ones around the times of, maybe a little bit after Shakur and Devin. Like, some of y'all are slipping. Y'all are letting these people come up in here. You are not on your A games.
Yep.
Get on your stuff. Because another thing that I have said on this channel, like, there's something special about us. There's something about the Black American fighter that they feel like they cannot compete with. This is why they have been doing it. They've been doing this for years, for decades, cheating. So get back on your game, though, because there was a time when you wasn't gonna beat that black fighter. You was not gonna beat him, but now they up in the ante. We gotta up the ante too. But the thing is, it's built in us. We don't need the extra bull crap like they do. We just need to get back on our game.
Now, Queen, I'm gonna point something else out to you. Now, as a coach, I'm going to tell you all this. If you have 6 world champions who have popped hot, you have way more fighters who are on that stuff than the ones at the top. Because all
Absolutely.
that means is you all got so comfortable, you all are used to not getting caught. That's all that is.
They're not used to getting caught, and when they do, there is no repercussion. There's no weight to the
None.
repercussion. So of
None.
course they don't feel bad about doing it again. Look at yeah, I
Yeah,
just
they don't feel bad. And then when it comes down to is, see, they know that if you get in USA boxing and you make it to the nationals,
mm-hmm.
you pretty much have a good chance of being picked up by a promotion. They don't check, they don't do urinalysis tests until you get to nationals or you are trying to qualify for the Olympics. So you can have up to 100 fights before you even get tested. See, that's what they're not saying.
That's crazy.
So I do believe that there is a conspiracy. Elijah Pierce said it himself on Brother Drew Titus' channel. He said, I had to change my way of fighting because the judges were so biased against us slick black fighters
Yeah,
when we would get on the national stage that I had to change my fighting style. Now, if you know this is going on, all the hee hee ha ha that Shakur and Keyshawn and all them be doing with the USA boxing team, hey man, them ain't your brothers no more, brother. Them ain't your
right.
brothers. They will get in the ring on PEDs and get you out of here. This is what people don't realize. Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney came up together.
Right.
They knew each other as teenagers, and he didn't care nothing about his life in that moment. You brothers need to wake up.
Now it's funny you say that about the what we would I guess call the amateur level, but me and Stormy talk about this. You're seeing this now on the pro level as far as what Elijah was talking about. They are trying to eliminate the black boxer. You can say slick, however, if your style is close to a pure boxing style and not a swarmer, not a brawler, they're trying to eliminate you. But then when you have guys like Loma, name any Hispanic fighter who uses lateral movement in their feet, then they are celebrated and they are absolutely pushed to the forefront as some great person. But then they're actually still in the fights, right in our I hate to say right in our face because we know it's been in our damn face, but it's becoming even more prevalent. Within the past few months, we saw Gaucher lose to Elijah Garcia when he absolutely beat him, boxed his
Yep.
socks off, right? It's somebody else too I could just think of that just did it even after that. These people have something against us, period, which is why I say we have to step our game up. And the black fighter, not only do you already need to step your game up, because I feel like some of y'all are slacking, but y'all got to learn how to create separation in these fights where there's no question. There's no freaking question.
Right.
It's just, and it's sad that they have to compete with somebody who may be on drugs. It's sad for me to hear that you say that they're doing this in the damn amateurs. It's ridiculous.
They're doing it in the amateurs, and they've been doing it. I It's one of the reasons why I had to stop going to certain USA boxing events because I was getting so pissed off with the stuff I was seeing. And then the judges, when you would try to challenge their call, they would pull this controlled aggression crap. I gave them the round because they had controlled aggression. You mean the one that was coming forward with his head down, just swinging and missing him? And they'll
You're
say, well, yeah,
missing.
and they'll say, well, yeah, he was pushing forward. And I'm like, bro, that's not boxing. But now
Yeah.
they have allowed some of these judges to do that. Now check this out. Even though they're doing this in America, it's showing on the international stage.
Mm,
Every Olympics, the USA boxing team is winning fewer and fewer gold medals.
I know.
And people are like, well, I don't understand what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. You all are fixing crap in America. And then when we get out in front of the world stage where there are international refs, the refs are saying, well, that's good. So you have slick Cuban fighters that's whooping everybody. You have
Mhm.
Eastern European fighters who are now moving their feet more, and they beating the crap out of a lot of our fighters as well. You got fighters
Mhm.
from Japan now in in the USA boxing Olympics whooping our fighters, and people are asking, well, how come we haven't seen a USA boxing team like the 1988 USA boxing team, which
Mm.
they're gonna be making a movie about soon with
Good.
Pernell
Purnell,
Whitaker
yeah, and
and
Breland,
yep,
Mark, yeah.
Breland. Right. So we haven't had a team like that in a minute, and people are trying to figure out why. This is why, and it's happening on this generation's watch, and they are taking it way too lightly. I feel like even when I was in my early 20s, I feel like that even though we were trying to outbox, we still had a little bit of bad intentions when we was hitting. We still
Yes.
wanted to make you drop to a knee. We wanted to make you feel like I don't want to be in the ring with this person. You see, but they're losing that, and what they're another thing they're doing is they are stopping the killers from getting to the top.
Absolutely. Yes.
So Elijah Pierce, who pieced up Tank Davis when he was a teenager, they've been doing their best to keep him from coming up because he's somebody that wants to hurt. I am actually surprised Abdullah Mason was able to get through the cracks. I'm so happy to see that young brother and all his brothers fight just like him. And I'm like, boy, y'all,
Hmm.
if they was tired of Bill Haney, oh, they gonna be real tired of the Masons in about 5 years. Cause wait till y'all see what's coming.
Well, okay, so you say that, but my thing is, and can I say I'm surprised that to see that he slipped through? Maybe not really. Maybe not really because I do think Bob has something to do with that, right? But
Ah, got
but
you.
I also feel like in saying that, Bob, okay, remember about when he was about, hey, he had about four fights and he was getting moved along. And I was like, they sure are like ticking him along.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Keyshawn was getting step ups just about every fight, right? And I'm like, because I think when I first saw Abdullah, I was like, this kid has a lot of promise. I could, you could just see it. So then as he's getting fight by fight, I'm like, man, it don't really feel like they up in his. So I felt like they were almost trying to wait him out
Uh-huh.
and keep giving him these little minuscule fights just
Right.
to make him have to re-sign with them or some crap like that. Because I had read an article where people had asked him, well, you're not really getting moved along as you should be, as we believe you should be, and he made a comment to the effect of we have something in plan. So then if I can read that and I know that, then Bob knows that. So I
Oh
felt like
yeah.
they were inching him along, right? So um but I'm not surprised that he made it through that. But the thing with me is going forward, if he don't resign with a Bob, then where does he go? And does he get shuffled to the back? Because we have people like Michael Hunter. We have black fighters now that we know that they are awesome fighters, but
Mm-hmm.
they ain't getting no shine. They ain't barely getting these little trash fights.
No, you are right about that. I actually forgot that Abdullah was signed to Bob. I don't trust Bob further than you can throw him. His
Mhm.
MO has never changed. I don't care. He's the same man that Herbert Muhammad bought on to top rank that crossed him when Bob crossed Herbert Muhammad and the rest of them to take top rank from them. He's the
Mhm.
same man that's pulled the same crap with Floyd Mayweather to try to keep him stagnant. James Prince goes deep into the detail in his book, Art of Respect, and he goes into it a little bit when he does the interview with Andre Ward. Bob Arum didn't want Floyd to fight Diego Corrales because that would have catapulted him forward.
Mm.
And you know that's how he does. He likes to keep you stagnant. and block fights that will make you great, which he did with Bud Crawford. You
But
know, uh,
yeah,
stopping the fight with Manny Pacquiao. And then, I don't know if he had anything to do with this Barrios and Pacquiao fight when, Boots was trying to get the fight with him to unify. But I'm like, man, this sure does remind me of the Manny Pacquiao and Bud situation. Like, why are these guys not fighting? And an old 46-year-old Pacquiao, how does that move the sport forward? Him coming,
it
it don't do
don't.
nothing. You see what I'm saying?
It don't. And if you saw Pacquiao's last fight, that exhibition, why the hell are we even? Why are we even talking about this fight happening? Why?
It's just to
There's no
stop.
way in hell.
I think it's just to stop the greatness of certain fighters. When somebody's on a roll, a hater always likes to trip you up to say, well, wait a minute, reset your feet real quick because you're
Hmm.
going off. Don't nobody want none of Boots right now. Not that last version of him, and the ones that do, they're trying to block them from fighting because sometimes people will block you knowing that it's going to raise your greatness. And Tiafimo and Ryan Garcia, the cheating, racist piece of crap that they have been on interviews saying that all we have to do is stall you out. All we have to do is not fight you.
Yeah,
And if people just listen to what they're saying and stop caping for them because you don't like a Devin, you don't like a Bill, you don't like a Brian Norman Sr., your hate is blinding you to see what's really going on.
but and then okay, so where are they even getting the idea of that from? From
It,
crap like the No Black Fighters.
uh-huh.
So
And, and
it goes up and beyond them. They're hearing this, and that gives them the ability to even come out and say shit like that.
yep.
That we're gonna stall you out, we're gonna freeze you out. You should not have that power at all. And again, to me, it just goes to show that even maybe in our, I'll say our fallen state, our lesser state, we are still a freaking threat because we are still the freaking standard. It just it just don't take a look. Let me see. Let me see what here. Um, Coach Hudson and Shawa there. This is where Bill Haney comes in to play. Black fighters and potential field non-black fighters signed with DHP. It's a brand as well, and they count on you supporting, not supporting self. I totally agree, Stormy. My thing with that, and it's not like a bad thing, but my thing with that is, um, as far as DHP goes right now, I know that they're absolutely not like throwing or footing the bill right now for fights. I really wish they could. So if we
Yeah.
had more fighters go over there, I mean, maybe they could build their brand more and make more money so that they get to a place where they can like utilize like a BOK Prime and throw fights. But right now, that's the only thing I hate about that for them. I definitely think fighters should go with DHP though. Absolutely. I just I really wish they could be further along to actually pay for some of these fights. That's where the problem comes when you're dealing with these freaking networks that they have to, which I don't know, Turkey coming in to play is a good thing. ESPN going out is a good thing because they were kind of exclusively with um, Top Rank.
Yeah.
Now Showtime, they used to have, well, they had like two fighters signed to the actual network. So that's what I'm saying. If DHP could link up with like the Zone, or if Turkey could work out some kind of deal where again they can build their monies so that they have a substantial place in the fight game where they could fund fights. That would be key.
Now, I'm going to tell you something else that needs to happen that will fix all of this PED crap.
Mm.
These sanctioning bodies take way too much money for us to still be using this old school piss test. I'm gonna tell it like it is.
$40,000 a
With
pop.
not just that. So right now, the way the agent test is once the serum gets to water, once
Mm.
water comes and gets it, and it gets to the water lab, the machines that they have run the test sometimes take days for the earliest. It can be days for the test to come back. It can be 3 days, it can be a week, it can be a week and a half, depending on what line it's in.
Mm.
Because boxing is one of the only sports where if you are cheating on PEDs, you can unalive your opponent. I
Yeah.
believe that boxing needs to have its own. VADA can still pick up the samples. They do a good job with that. But I think that boxing needs its own lab with a future type of testing that can give us same day results. I don't want to hear nothing about they can't get the technology and none of that. Boxing makes almost $1 billion a year. They
You're
need
right
to
about that.
they need to get some scientists. They need to say, hey, somehow we need our fighters to be able to test, and we need test results the same day. That will put a stop to all of this BS.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. That's absolutely the thing. They don't want to. I'm gonna say first they don't care, and moreover they don't want to, because look again, look who it is, and look who's at the top of in the top levels of boxing: Caucasian and Hispanic people. And when I say Hispanic, I'm talking about the Spaniard, the ones who want to be Caucasian. These people are running boxing. They don't give a crap about their people testing dirty, because at the end of the day, it's their fighters. It's their fighters that's in there making them money. And then you bring in the sanctioning bodies like your WBC. That's more money for him. So of course he's gonna turn the blind eye, like the article I just shown. Yeah, why should he do anything? Which is funny because he never uh what's his name? Ryan never had no titles. He never held no damn titles. But all
Right.
of a sudden, when he is representing you, well, you don't even want to penalize him at all, because he's
Mm-mm.
bringing you freaking money, and they know that whole. And I don't know this to be true, Coach. Maybe you can shed some light on it. But the whole idea is that Hispanics as a group, like, they just throw so much freaking money into the sport. It's like they don't want to sacrifice, you know, taking anybody to task, because we need that Hispanic dollar at the end of the day.
So let me say this. When Tank Davis came to Atlanta,
Mm,
they sold out, right?
yes.
Atlanta became a boxing city during that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The ones who run a lot of the sanctioning bodies and a lot of these headquarters from Las Vegas over to the West Coast
Mm.
are Hispanics.
Yes, they are.
Now, even though Mexicans like boxing, there's plenty of cities that are heavily black, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cuban that will also support the right events.
Yep.
But these people who are running these sanctioning bodies who are Hispanic, who really have no allegiance to the legacy of American boxing, they want their people to take over. They want to keep eating off of the sanctioning bodies. So a lot of this stuff, like you said, they are going to turn a blind eye to, and they do not want the roles to reverse, where now we're having boxing matches in the DMV again. We're having boxing matches in Atlanta again. We're having boxing matches in Puerto Rico again, like in the
Mm,
90s, in the 80s. We're
right.
having matches, super matches in Panama and these other places. They want to keep it right where they can control and keep the money rotating within their own families. So right now, a lot of the black fighters, they know this. A lot of them know this. That's why they're afraid to speak their mind. See, some of it is self-hate, but some of it is strategic.
Fear. Yeah.
They know that if they push against the grain too much, they might not come back home
Then you
from
don't.
fighting in Las Vegas. They maybe feel like, hey, I can't speak against Ryan Garcia like that because I know he's tied in with the cartel over there. I know, and I ain't talking about the one in Mexico. I'm talking about the one at the WBC. I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about these crooked people at these sanctioning bodies. And
Mm-hmm.
see, all our black fighters have to do is it's very simple. Your unity is stronger than an atomic bomb. All you have to do is come together. I know some of you don't like each other. I know some of you are tribal. There's nothing wrong with that. You all can settle that in the ring. But right now, you brothers have to wake up and see, hey, it's us versus everybody. Because
Everybody.
the difference is when the brothers are on code in American boxing, ain't nobody gonna suffer. It's gonna be on the up and up, and it's gonna be fair. You know, whether you Puerto Rican, whether you Mexican, it's gonna be fair because if the black fan base is just as heavy as the Mexican fan base, and you all start just like the brothers was talking about the other month on 78 Sports TV. We were talking about the Lamont versus Tank fight, the first one, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody was like, well, why aren't they having it in the DMV? And all these excuses were coming up of why they can't. But at the end of the day, they do not want black cities to be back involved in boxing because we got the money. That's already been proven.
Absolutely.
Clarissa Shields is showing that every time she shuts down Flint. She can pull it off doing a recession, depression, COVID, and we still came out and spent that bread. So there are people working for these sanctioning bodies. If you go and look up who runs the WC, who runs the WBO, and you look at these people and you look at how long this person has had this job, what have they done? What have they been suspended for and allowed to come right back to work? You will see a pattern that it is the same people. Now, at some point, we have to look at where do we want our sport to be. If this was basketball, if this was football, if this was any other sport in America, and this type of crap was going on, you mean to tell me that somebody from another country that comes into the boxing ring waving another flag can be on PEDs, beat an American fighter who is holding the American flag, representing Americans, beat them. It come out later that he was cheating, and for a year he is treated like the victim. He is praised as the victim, as the hero.
Yep.
That is disgusting.
Now
And if
that okay, that was well, Ryan we know is a Mexican American, but that was absolutely sickening. And that is
Mhm.
exactly what happened with him. Again, it was something you said earlier about them not did you say they don't have an allegiance to American boxing?
Yeah, they have no allegiance.
Well, I mean, okay, but the thing is we don't look at this the right way. They absolutely should because they're using our country, they're using
Hmm.
our venues as a vehicle for
Hmm.
their fighters to become known again. Now, yeah, when you start looking like you say, and I've been saying at the upper levels, they're the ones that are in place there, but they're using our networks. They're using us. You know what I mean? They're using our fighters to again further their careers, further their. They come here, they don't even have to learn how to speak English, and that's fine. You don't have to. But when you've been here for 10, 15 years, look at Canelo just all of a sudden learned because he wanted to. There's
Hmm.
no reason why you should be able to come here and do all that. This ain't Mexico. Y'all can stay down there and fight. And you can broadcast down there as well because you have plenty of broadcasting abilities and stations. So what the hell are you coming to America for?
Now, Queen, imagine this. Imagine if the black fighters, the black elite fighters right now were all Caucasian. When I tell you none of this crap will be going on, let me
That's
tell
true.
you something. If the roles were reversed and the top elite American fighters were Caucasian and this crap was going on,
It wouldn't be.
these good old boys would have walked up in y'all buildings and snatched y'all out of those positions
Yep.
because that's how they would have got down. But because we're trying to handle it and be so humble and respectful and loving and on a fair, even playing field for the love of the sport, we're trying to get you and almost begging. Some of these fighters are begging for y'all to do the right thing. Well, that day is over with. You black fighters need to get together. And Bernard Hopkins was talking about this briefly on his interview with Andre Ward. And shout out to SOG Andre Ward, who is giving us some legendary interviews.
Mm.
Bernard Hopkins was talking about how the lack of support fighters got when it was time to go up to Congress and fight for the Muhammad Ali Act. If you all think stuff is bad now, if they are able to overturn that act, this right here is child's play compared to what you all are about to see. We need to come together, go on up there down to Congress, and fix this crap. Because Shawa just said a beautiful point. She said that you all should have an allegiance to American boxing because we are paying your bills. We are sending your kids to school on the backs and blood of our fighters and using our venues and using our networks on USTV. And for you all to sit up here and act like you're racist towards us and cheat against us, something has to change.
But see, okay, and they don't have a problem with them doing that towards us. But like you said, if the top guys were Caucasian, we absolutely would not be seeing this.
No.
And because again, and I call them, and they are, and then obviously you guys, I don't mean everybody, but they are our open enemy, and our open enemy don't care that their vassals are trampling over us. They don't care. And at the end of the day, I can see it being very easy under the regime that we are right now if they would absolutely take away the Ali Act, because we know who is friends with the man who's running this country.
Dana White.
We know that they are friends, and we see everything else that's happening in the country right now. So that no, they don't give a crap about them doping and beating us in boxing. If it was them, they would. They don't care about them trampling over us and being racist against us in boxing. If it was them, it would be a problem. But with all that being said, I don't know. It really gives me a bad feeling in my stomach when you brought up the Ali Act portion. And the fact that it is so, at this point, you could just see it kind of happening. It can easily happen. And if that happens, it's a wrap, y'all. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. We would totally we're already, I don't want to say indebted to these people, but we're at the mercy of, and it'll be so much worse. I ain't gonna lie, I couldn't even mess with boxing no more. I just could not. I cannot see our people broke down even further, begging and scrapping and scraping for what we know is fair and right than they are right now.
No, you're right. You're right, Quinn. You said a lot, but I appreciate you letting me on. I got to get back in this gym. I know they're looking for me.
Okay, yes. Thank
All right.
you. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you.
All right. Peace, Queen.
Blessings to you. So, back again with that said, I don't know. I mean, he just brought a lot out to the forefront. I will say, in the meantime, I still question what is it that we as supporters of this sport could do as far as holding somebody like a Eddie Reynoso accountable, because he absolutely should be responsible and accountable for the people that are coming out of his gym. There's no question that this man, Jaime Mungia, goes to your gym and out of his 47 fights, well, we'll say 46 because it's the 47 now that he's popped dirty. There's no way that he all of a sudden links up with you and now this man pops dirty. And he's been with Golden Boy, who I also still find suspect as far as PED use. I clearly think that something should be done on behalf of the people, excuse me, as far as us as the supporters, It's something that we should be able to do, because otherwise this just gets swept under the rug again, right? Nothing happens again. Um, at this point, it's been 25 days since they actually found him to have popped dirty. We didn't find out till today, but May 4th, he pops dirty, and we just catch wind of it. So we know, I know in my heart of hearts, they're not going to overturn. I just don't, y'all. I don't believe it. I don't see them overturning the decision. I mean, or maybe they will. They'll make it a no contest, obviously, possibly. But just the fact alone, like I said, that it's been 25 days and they're just saying it, and within the first 10 days of them even finding out, he should have called for that B test to be tested, which again we know is the same as A. It's just a delay, and the fact that they were hiding this, just like so many other things. There's some other stories that I wanted to talk about, non-boxing related, about these people hiding things when it has nothing to do with Black people. Because when it's us, we are absolutely put out on Front Street, and we are drugged and made an example of absolutely every single time. There's no question about it. So I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to some other creators that are a little bit more knowledgeable about me, about things like that, like Coach Hudson, like Stormy, maybe Drew, about what it is. What is it maybe that we can do? Because I absolutely think this has to stop. It's like every month, every other month, these guys from Mexico is popping dirty. And now also, I'm actually forgetting something, you guys. There is another fighter who's fighting for his life right now, ain't it? Is it Rikishi? Rikishi, he just fought on the Pro Box card. And wasn't he fighting a Hispanic fighter as well? Maybe I have to do a video about that. Like I said, I couldn't be on here long today. I didn't need to be. I have a lot of stuff to do. I got new appliances coming, and I need to, unload the fridge and all that stuff. So, it's been good talking to you guys. I miss you guys a lot. It's just been a whole bunch going on with life, and I mean, I've been even doing still my notes and my breakdowns for boxing. I just ain't been able to get them out and get on here with y'all. But I will be back. I'm going to start finding time, and hopefully everything just settles down or around here. I don't know. I look forward to having conversations with you guys going forward. And again, my panel is always going to be open to anybody to come up here and speak about this boxing, whether it's the good, the bad, the ugly. And yeah, thank you guys for coming through. I appreciate you all so very much. But I'm going to hop on off and take care of my business. I love y'all very much. Bye.